Breaking Through Fear: How to Take Bold Action. Written and published by Echo Elevate. Introduction. Fear is not your enemy. It's a signal that you are on the edge of something great. The truth is, fear is part of the journey to success. It's the voice that tells you to play it safe. But here's the secret. Bold action is the key to breaking through that fear and stepping into your full potential. In this book, you will learn how to transform fear from a barrier into a powerful tool. I'll show you how to embrace fear, recognize it, and take action despite it. You'll discover simple yet effective strategies to build confidence, silence self-doubt, and face challenges head-on. This isn't about living without fear. It's about learning to act in spite of it. It's about taking bold steps. Even when the path ahead seems uncertain, you'll see that every courageous decision you make will strengthen your resilience and bring you closer to your goals. By the end of this book, you'll have the tools to turn fear into fuel. You'll understand how small, consistent actions can lead to big results. And most importantly, you'll feel empowered to take that first bold step toward the life you've always wanted. Let's dive in and start the journey of breaking through fear and taking bold action today. Chapter 1. Embracing Fear as a Catalyst. Fear. It's something we all experience at one point or another. Whether it's the fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of the unknown, it can feel overwhelming. But what if I told you that fear doesn't have to be something that holds you back? What if fear could become a powerful catalyst for growth and change? In this chapter, we're going to explore how fear can be your ally, not your enemy. Fear doesn't have to paralyze you or stop you from reaching your goals. In fact, when embraced the right way, it can propel you forward. Understanding fear's role. First, let's define fear. Fear is an emotional response to perceived danger or threat. It's a natural reaction designed to protect us. But not all fear is based on real threats. Many of our fears are self-created, stemming from past experiences, worries about the future, or concerns about things that may never happen. Take a moment to think about the fears that have held you back. Perhaps it's the fear of speaking in public, the fear of making a big change in your life, or even the fear of stepping into something new that excites you but feels risky. The fear itself isn't the problem. It's how we respond to it that determines whether it holds us back or helps us grow. When you feel fear, instead of running from it, consider what it might be telling you. Often, fear signals that you're about to do something meaningful, something outside your comfort zone. It's not a sign to retreat, but an invitation to advance. Fear as a sign of growth. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you will feel fear. That's natural. Growth, by its very nature, involves the unknown. It requires you to stretch beyond what you know and what feels safe. The more you grow, the more you will encounter fear. But this is not something to fear in itself. It's a sign that you're progressing. Think about a time in your life when you made a significant change. Maybe it was starting a new job, moving to a new city, or beginning a new relationship. Did you feel fear? Most likely, you did. But what happened after that initial fear? You adapted, you learned, you grew. Fear doesn't mean you're not ready. It means you're ready for something new. Embracing fear as a signal of growth changes the way you look at challenges. Rather than seeing fear as something to avoid, you start to see it as a prompt to move forward. This shift in perspective is the first step in using fear as a catalyst for bold action. Real-life example. The fear of public speaking. Let's look at an example many of us can relate to: public speaking. According to surveys, public speaking is one of the most common fears people experience. The mere thought of standing in front of an audience can cause anxiety, racing thoughts, and physical symptoms, like sweating and shaking. But what happens when someone steps up to that podium anyway? Consider someone like Steve Jobs. When Jobs first began speaking publicly, he was not the smooth, confident speaker we remember today. In fact, he struggled with anxiety and fear. But over time, he didn't let his fear stop him. He continued to speak, refine his approach, and embrace the discomfort. Eventually, public speaking became one of his greatest strengths. In Job's case, fear didn't hold him back. It became a driving force that pushed him to improve. It forced him to practice, to get better, and to refine his skills. His fear was a catalyst for personal growth, making him a more effective communicator and leader. Reframing fear, from enemy to ally. So how do you begin to see fear as a catalyst for growth? The first step is to reframe your thinking about fear. Instead of seeing it as something negative, try to view it as a friend. When fear shows up, it's often because you're on the brink of something new and important. To help you with this shift, let's look at a simple reframing exercise. The next time you feel fear, instead of saying to yourself, "I can't do this," try saying, "This fear means I'm about to take bold action. I'm stepping into a new chapter of growth." This small shift in language can make a big difference. It turns fear into a signal that you're on the right path, not a barrier that blocks you. Actionable insight. The fear-action connection. Now let's talk about how you can use fear as a catalyst for bold action. The key is to take action, even when you're afraid. Fear thrives in uncertainty, but action shrinks fear. The more you act in the face of fear, the more you prove to yourself that you can handle it. Here's a simple exercise to help you get started. Identify a fear. Write down a fear you have that's holding you back from taking action. Be specific. Is it the fear of failing? The fear of looking foolish? Whatever it is, name it. Take one small step. Once you've identified the fear, think of one small action you can take to move past it. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's sending an email, making a phone call, or signing up for a course. Whatever it is, make sure it's a step that moves you in the right direction. Celebrate the progress. After taking that first step, celebrate it. Acknowledge that you've taken action. Even if it was small, the more you repeat this process, the easier it becomes. The fear may not go away, but your ability to take bold action in spite of it will grow stronger. The power of momentum. The key to using fear as a catalyst is momentum. The first step is always the hardest, but once you take it, it gets easier. Think of a snowball rolling down a hill. At first it's small and slow, but as it gathers momentum, it becomes unstoppable. This is what happens when you consistently take bold actions in the face of fear. Momentum builds confidence. The more you act, the more you prove to yourself that you can handle whatever fear throws your way. And with each action, you grow stronger and more capable. Conclusion. Fear is not the end. It's the beginning. Fear will always be a part of life. It's not something you can completely eliminate, but you don't have to let it stop you. Fear is not the end of your journey. It's the beginning. It's the signal that you're ready for something new. It's the catalyst that can propel you toward growth, change, and success. The next time you feel fear, remember it's not a sign to stop. It's a sign to move forward. Embrace it, use it, and let it drive you to take bold action. In the next chapter, we'll dive deeper into the anatomy of fear and explore how to recognize and understand the specific fears that hold you back. Together we'll break them down and start building the courage to move past them. Chapter 2. The anatomy of fear. Fear is something we all experience. It's universal. But have you ever stopped to wonder exactly why we feel fear? What is happening in our bodies and minds when we're afraid? Understanding the anatomy of fear is the first step in learning how to manage it, and eventually use it as a catalyst for change. In this chapter, we will break down fear into its basic components, explore its physiological and psychological effects, and begin to understand how fear shapes our actions. By understanding the biology and psychology of fear, you can start to recognize it for what it is: a natural response that doesn't have to control you. The physical response to fear. When you feel fear, your body reacts instantly. This is because fear triggers the fight or flight response, a physiological reaction that prepares you to face danger. Here's what happens. The brain's reaction. The moment your brain perceives a threat, it activates the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for processing emotions, especially fear. The amygdala sends signals to the hypothalamus, which then triggers the fight or flight response. Physical changes. Your body goes into survival mode. Adrenaline floods your bloodstream, increasing your heart rate, heightening your senses, and preparing your muscles to act quickly. This is why, in moments of fear, you may feel your heart racing, your palms sweating, or your breath becoming shallow and rapid. Your body is preparing to either run or fight. Heightened senses. Fear sharpens your senses. You may notice things more clearly, or become hyper-aware of your surroundings. This is the body's way of ensuring that you can react quickly to potential danger. These physical responses are perfectly normal. They are the body's natural way of keeping you safe. But here's the thing. Most of the time, the danger we're fearing isn't life-threatening. It's often something like speaking in public, taking a risk at work, or starting a new project. These responses, while helpful in certain situations, can become overwhelming when we're facing everyday challenges. The psychological response to fear. While fear starts as a physical reaction, it also has significant psychological components. The mind plays a huge role in how we experience fear, and understanding the mental process is just as important as understanding the physical one. Perception of threat. The first step in the psychological process of fear is perception. Your brain evaluates a situation and determines whether it is a threat. This evaluation is influenced by past experiences, memories, and beliefs. If you've faced a similar situation in the past and had a negative outcome, your brain may automatically perceive the current situation as a threat, even if there's no real danger. Negative thinking. Once the brain perceives a threat, it often starts to engage in negative thinking. You may begin to imagine worst-case scenarios, thinking that failure is inevitable, or that you'll be judged harshly by others. These thoughts only increase the feelings of fear and anxiety. Avoidance. Fear often leads to avoidance. When faced with something that triggers fear, the natural instinct is to escape the situation. You may delay, procrastinate, or even abandon plans altogether. While this provides temporary relief, it reinforces the cycle of fear and avoidance. The psychological side of fear is just as powerful as the physical side. But here's the good news. By understanding how your mind reacts to fear, you can start to challenge and reframe your thoughts. Instead of allowing negative thinking and avoidance to control your actions, you can begin to take conscious steps to overcome them. Fear and the brain. The amygdala hijack. The term amygdala hijack refers to a situation in which your brain's amygdala takes over, overriding your rational thinking and emotional control. This is what happens when fear gets the best of you. Your emotional brain takes over, and you react impulsively, without fully thinking through your response. This process is automatic and quick. In moments of fear, the amygdala's control overpowers the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for reasoning and decision-making. That's why, when you're in a fearful state, you may find it hard to think logically or make decisions. The body and mind are simply too focused on survival to consider long-term consequences or rational solutions. The good news is that the amygdala's influence can be reduced. By practicing mindfulness and engaging in activities that calm the nervous system, you can gradually learn to regain control over your responses. The more you practice, the easier it will become to pause before reacting, allowing the prefrontal cortex to take charge and help you make more deliberate, thoughtful decisions. Fear as a learned response. While fear is a natural part of human existence, much of it is learned. In fact, many of our fears are not born from instinct, but from experiences we've had throughout our lives. Think about a time when you felt deeply afraid of something. Maybe it was public speaking, or trying something new. Now reflect on how that fear developed. Some fears are learned early in life. For example, if a child touches a hot stove and gets burned, they will likely develop a fear of touching hot objects. Other fears are learned through social or cultural influences. You may fear failure because of messages you've received from your family or society. Perhaps you fear rejection because of past experiences with judgment or criticism. Once fear is learned, it becomes ingrained in your thought patterns. However, just as you learn to fear, You can unlearn those fears through conscious effort and practice. Rewriting the script of your fears is possible, and it starts with recognizing that they are not permanent. The role of fear in decision-making. Fear plays a significant role in decision-making. It helps us evaluate risks and make choices that keep us safe. In that sense, fear is a necessary part of life. However, fear can also distort our decision-making when it becomes excessive. When fear takes over, it can cloud our judgment and lead us to make decisions based on anxiety rather than logic. You might avoid opportunities or take actions that feel comfortable but don't align with your long-term goals. This is why it's important to become aware of how fear is influencing your choices. To counteract this, ask yourself two key questions when fear arises. Is this fear based on a real threat, or is it an exaggerated response? What would I do if fear didn't exist? These questions can help you evaluate whether your fear is rational or if it's limiting your potential. By becoming more mindful of your decision-making process, you can begin to make choices that are aligned with your true goals, not just your fear. Conclusion. Understanding fear to overcome it. Fear, as we've seen, is a complex mix of physical and psychological responses. It has deep roots in our biology and is influenced by our experiences and perceptions. But understanding the anatomy of fear is just the beginning. When you understand how fear works, both in your body and mind, you can start to separate it from reality. Fear is not a permanent roadblock. It's a natural response that can be managed and used to your advantage. By recognizing the physical symptoms, challenging negative thoughts, and making mindful decisions, you can begin to break free from the grip fear has on you. In the next chapter, we will explore how to identify specific fears and their sources, so you can begin the process of confronting them head-on. The goal is not to eliminate fear, but to empower you to take bold action, regardless of it. Fear may always be with you, but it doesn't have to control your life. Let's move forward, with awareness and courage, as we continue this journey. Chapter 3. Identifying your fears. Fear is a natural part of being human. It's something we all experience at various points in our lives. But how often do we stop and think about what exactly we're afraid of? Fear isn't always obvious. Sometimes it's a vague feeling that something is holding us back, but we can't quite put our finger on it. Other times, our fears are more specific, like the fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown. In this chapter, we will dive deep into identifying your fears. We'll explore the different types of fears you may encounter and how to uncover what's really holding you back. The goal is to bring clarity to your fears, so they no longer have control over you. Once you can name your fears, you can begin to take steps to address them and turn them into opportunities for growth. The nature of fear, general versus specific fears. Before we can identify our fears, it's important to understand the difference between general and specific fears. General fears, these are vague, broad feelings of anxiety or unease. You might feel a sense of dread without knowing exactly what it is. General fears are often related to abstract concepts, like fear of the future, fear of change, or fear of the unknown. These types of fears are more difficult to pinpoint because they are not tied to a particular event or situation. They can often feel overwhelming, as if fear is hanging over you without any clear cause. Specific fears. These are fears that are tied to concrete situations or outcomes. For example, the fear of speaking in public, the fear of making a big decision at work, or the fear of being rejected by someone you care about. Specific fears are easier to identify because they are directly tied to an event or action. They often arise from past experiences, where you may have faced rejection, failure, or embarrassment. The key to overcoming fear is recognizing whether it is a general or specific fear. Once you know which category it falls into, you can start to break it down and address it. Common fears that hold us back. To begin identifying your fears, let's look at some of the most common fears that hold people back. These are fears that many of us face, even if we don't always acknowledge them. Fear of failure. This is one of the most common and paralyzing fears. The thought of failing at something can prevent us from taking action altogether. It's the fear of not measuring up, of disappointing ourselves or others, or of facing the consequences of our mistakes. This fear can keep us stuck in a cycle of inaction, where we avoid taking risks in order to avoid failure. Fear of rejection. Fear of rejection is deeply tied to our sense of self-worth. We fear being judged, criticized, or not being accepted by others. This fear can show up in relationships, at work, or even in social situations. We worry that we won't be good enough, or that others won't appreciate us for who we are. As a result, we may hold back from expressing ourselves, pursuing relationships, or taking on new opportunities. Fear of the unknown. The fear of the unknown is a fear that we all experience at some point in our lives. It's the fear of stepping into unfamiliar territory, whether it's a new job, a new place, or a new phase of life. The unknown can feel unpredictable and unsafe, which can trigger anxiety and hesitation. We fear what might happen, what we don't understand, and what we can't control. Fear of success. This may sound strange, but fear of success is a real and common fear. The idea of success brings with it increased responsibility, higher expectations, and the pressure to maintain that success. It's the fear of not being able to handle the consequences of success, or of being exposed as not worthy of it. This fear often stems from feelings of inadequacy or imposter syndrome, where we don't feel deserving of the success we achieve. Fear of change. Change is a natural part of life, but it can be scary. The fear of change often arises from the discomfort of leaving behind what is familiar. Even if the change is positive, it can still feel unsettling. The fear of losing control, of facing uncertainty, or of having to adapt to a new reality, can hold us back from embracing new opportunities. Fear of judgment. We all care about what others think of us to some degree. The fear of being judged or criticized can prevent us from taking action or putting ourselves out there. This fear can manifest in different ways, such as avoiding public speaking, holding back in social situations, or worrying about how others perceive our choices and actions. Fear of inadequacy. Deep down, many people fear that they aren't enough, that they don't have what it takes to succeed, to belong, or to be loved. This fear can show up in many aspects of life, from personal relationships to professional endeavors. It's the fear that you won't measure up, that you're not good enough, or that you don't have the skills or qualities necessary to achieve your goals. How to identify your specific fears. Now that we've explored some of the common fears that people experience, it's time to identify your specific fear. This is an important step, because until you can clearly name your fears, they will remain an unknown force that controls your actions. By identifying your fears, you can begin to take control and turn them into opportunities for growth. Here's a simple exercise to help you identify your fears. Reflect on your current struggles. Think about what's currently holding you back in your life. What are you avoiding? What makes you feel anxious or uneasy? Write down the situations or decisions that trigger fear for you. Ask yourself why you feel afraid. Once you've identified the situations or challenges that trigger fear, ask yourself why you feel afraid. Is it the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, or the fear of the unknown? Be honest with yourself and try to dig deeper. What is at the root of your fear? Examine past experiences. Often our fears are rooted in past experiences. Reflect on times when you've faced fear before. What happened? Did you fail? Were you rejected? Did you succeed? Sometimes, understanding the source of your fear can help you recognize patterns and triggers that you can begin to address. Break down the fear. Once you've identified your fear, break it down into smaller, more manageable pieces. For example, if you have a fear of public speaking, instead of thinking of the entire event as overwhelming, focus on one step at a time. It might be preparing your speech, practicing in front of a mirror, or simply standing in front of a small group. Breaking down the fear makes it feel less intimidating and more achievable. Reframing your fears. After identifying your fears, the next step is to reframe them. Reframing is the process of changing the way you look at a situation, so that it no longer feels threatening. Instead of seeing fear as something that paralyzes you, you begin to see it as a signal for growth. For example, if you fear failure, try reframing it as an opportunity to learn. Failure doesn't define you. It's a stepping stone toward success. If you fear judgment, remind yourself that people's opinions are often based on their own fears, not your worth. Reframing your fears helps you take control of the narrative, turning fear into a tool for progress, rather than a roadblock. Conclusion: the power of identifying your fear. Identifying your fears is the first step toward overcoming them. By understanding what you're afraid of, you can take control of your responses and begin to take action in spite of your fear. Fear loses its power when you face it directly and see it for what it truly is, a natural response that can be managed and used to your advantage. In the next chapter, we'll explore strategies for shifting your mindset and building the courage to act in the face of fear. By taking the first step toward understanding and confronting your fear, you're already on the path to becoming unstoppable. Let's continue this journey together. Chapter 4. Shifting your mindset. Your mindset shapes everything in your life. It affects how you approach challenges, handle setbacks, and ultimately how you view your potential. The good news: you have the power to change it. In this chapter, we'll explore how shifting your mindset can help you overcome fear, embrace bold action, and unlock your limitless potential. The way you think directly influences the way you act. If you believe that fear will stop you, it will. If you think that failure is the end of the road, it will be. But if you shift your mindset to one that sees challenges as opportunities for growth, you can transform how you handle fear and take bolder, more confident actions. Let's dive into how to shift your mindset from one that holds you back to one that propels you forward. The power of a growth mindset. A powerful way to shift your mindset is by adopting a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed with effort, learning, and persistence. This contrasts with a fixed mindset, which believes that abilities are static and cannot change. When you have a growth mindset, you see challenges as opportunities to learn, rather than threats to your success. You understand that failures are a natural part of the learning process, and you don't let them stop you. Instead, you learn from them, improve, and try again. For example, think about the first time you tried something new. Maybe it was learning to ride a bike, or speaking in front of a group of people. At first, you may have struggled, fallen off, or felt awkward. But instead of quitting, you kept going, learning from your mistakes and improving. Over time, you became better, and your fear of failure faded because you understood that failure wasn't permanent. It was just a step toward success. This mindset shift is powerful. It's about believing that growth comes from experience, not just innate talent. By shifting to a growth mindset, you can face your fears with confidence, knowing that you have the ability to learn and improve along the way. The role of self-belief. At the core of shifting your mindset is self-belief. Believing in yourself is essential for overcoming fear and taking bold action. Without self-belief, fear can feel overwhelming, and you may find it hard to take any action at all. On the other hand, when you believe in your ability to handle challenges, fear becomes more manageable, and action becomes easier. Self-belief doesn't mean thinking you're perfect or never making mistakes. It means trusting yourself enough to take action, despite your doubts and fears. It's the confidence that even if you fail, you will learn from the experience and keep moving forward. Building self-belief starts with small steps. Start by recognizing your past successes, no matter how small they may seem. Reflect on moments where you've overcome challenges in the past. This will remind you that you have the strength to face fear and take bold action. Next, practice positive self-talk. The words you say to yourself matter. When fear creeps in, replace negative thoughts like "I can't do this," or "I'll fail" with empowering statements like "I've got this," or "I can handle whatever comes my way." By changing the way you speak to yourself, you reinforce your belief in your ability to succeed. Reframing fear as excitement. One of the most powerful ways to shift your mindset is by reframing your thoughts around fear. Instead of viewing fear as a signal to stop, try reframing it as a signal to take action. Fear often feels the same as excitement. It's just a matter of how we interpret it. Think about how your body reacts when you're excited. Your heart races, your palms get sweaty, and you may feel a bit of nervous energy. These are the same physical reactions you experience when you feel afraid. But excitement and fear are both rooted in anticipation. They are both emotional responses to something that matters to you. The next time you feel fear, try this simple mental exercise. Pause and say to yourself, "This is excitement, not fear." Recognize that your body is gearing up for something big, something important. By reframing fear as excitement, you begin to see it as a natural part of stepping into new and challenging experiences. This shift helps you move forward, rather than retreat. Instead of getting paralyzed by fear, you embrace the energy it gives you, and use it to fuel your actions. Challenging limiting beliefs. A major part of shifting your mindset involves identifying and challenging limiting beliefs. These are the beliefs you hold about yourself that limit your potential. They might be beliefs like, "I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes. I'll never be successful." These beliefs are often formed early in life and can be reinforced by past experiences. They can act as invisible barriers that keep you from taking bold action and pursuing your goals. The truth is, these beliefs are not facts. They are just thoughts you've accepted as truth. And the great news is, you have the power to change them. To challenge your limiting beliefs, start by asking yourself the following questions. Is this belief true? Often, limiting beliefs are based on past experiences or assumptions that no longer serve you. Just because you failed once or experienced rejection doesn't mean you will always fail or be rejected. What evidence do I have that this belief is false? Look at your past successes, no matter how small, and use them as evidence that you are capable. Reflect on times when you faced challenges and overcame them. What would I do if I didn't have this belief? Imagine a world where your limiting belief didn't exist. How would you act differently? What bold actions would you take? By questioning and challenging your limiting beliefs, you begin to free yourself from the mental barriers that hold you back. You start to see yourself as capable and worthy of success, and this shift opens up new possibilities for action. Embracing a positive, solution-oriented mindset. When fear arises, it's easy to fall into a negative, problem-focused mindset. You might start to think about all the things that could go wrong, or how hard the task ahead will be. However, this mindset only increases anxiety and makes it harder to take action. Instead, try to embrace a solution-oriented mindset. When faced with fear or a challenge, ask yourself, what's the best way forward? Focus on solutions, not problems. Instead of worrying about all the things that could go wrong, focus on what you can control and the steps you can take to move forward. This mindset shift helps you feel empowered. It gives you a sense of control, even in the face of uncertainty. When you focus on solutions, you naturally begin to take action, rather than staying stuck in fear. Taking action, despite fear. Ultimately, the most important aspect of shifting your mindset is taking action. A shift in mindset without action is just a thought process. To truly change, you must put your new mindset into practice. Start small. Take one step forward, even if it's a little uncomfortable. Each action will reinforce your belief in yourself and your ability to handle fear. Remember, fear doesn't disappear just because you've shifted your mindset. It's normal to feel fear when you're taking bold action. The key is not to wait for fear to vanish before you act, but to act despite the fear. The more you do this, the easier it becomes to take bold steps forward. Conclusion: mindset is the key to unlocking your potential. Shifting your mindset is one of the most powerful ways to break through fear and take bold action. When you adopt a growth mindset, believe in yourself, reframe your fears, challenge limiting beliefs, and focus on solutions, you unlock your potential to achieve things you never thought possible. In the next chapter, we will explore how to build confidence through small wins. By taking consistent, courageous action, you'll begin to see progress, and that progress will reinforce your new mindset. Let's continue building momentum and moving closer to the life you've always wanted. Chapter 5. Building confidence through small wins. Confidence is not something you're born with. It's something you build. It's the result of consistently taking action, learning from experiences, and proving to yourself that you can handle challenges. And here's the secret. You don't need to take massive, life-changing actions right away to build confidence. In fact, the most powerful way to build lasting confidence is through small wins. In this chapter, we will explore how you can use small wins to build your confidence over time. By taking small, manageable steps and celebrating every victory, you'll start to develop a deeper belief in your abilities, and that belief will make it easier to face bigger challenges and take bolder actions. Let's dive into how you can harness the power of small wins to transform your confidence. What are small wins? A small win is a minor achievement or progress in the direction of your goals. It doesn't have to be monumental. It's about taking one step forward, no matter how small, towards something that matters to you. These small wins add up over time, building momentum and reinforcing your self-belief. Small wins can take many forms. It might be completing a task you've been procrastinating on, speaking up in a meeting, finishing a chapter of a book, or even simply showing up consistently to work toward your goals. The key is that small wins are steps that move you in the right direction, and each one brings you closer to your larger goals. For example, if you're afraid of public speaking, your first small win might be practicing in front of a mirror. The next win could be delivering a short speech to a close friend or family member. Over time, these small steps will build your confidence until you feel ready to speak in front of a larger group. These small wins don't just add up, they compound. The more wins you accumulate, the more confident you become in your ability to succeed. The power of momentum. One of the greatest benefits of small wins is the momentum they create. When you experience a small success, you feel a sense of accomplishment. This positive feeling motivates you to take the next step, and the more small wins you achieve, the more momentum you build, and the easier it becomes to take on bigger challenges. Think of momentum as a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, the snowball is small and slow, but as it picks up speed, it grows larger and more powerful. The same is true for building confidence. Each small win adds to your momentum, making it easier to tackle the next task and face more significant fears. Momentum is one of the key factors that separates those who achieve their goals from those who don't. When you take consistent action, even in small ways, you keep the momentum going, and momentum has a way of building on itself, creating a cycle of success that reinforces your belief in your abilities. Celebrating small wins. It's important to celebrate each small win, no matter how small it may seem. Too often, we focus on the bigger picture and overlook the smaller victories along the way. But celebrating small wins is crucial for building confidence. Each win is proof that you're capable and moving forward. Celebration doesn't need to be grand or complicated. It could be as simple as taking a moment to acknowledge your progress, or rewarding yourself with something small, like a favorite treat or activity. The celebration is a reminder that you've taken action, and that action matters. Celebrating your small wins also helps reinforce the behavior that led to the win. When you acknowledge and reward yourself, you're more likely to repeat that action. The more you celebrate, the more motivated you'll be to continue moving forward. Overcoming the fear of failure. One of the biggest barriers to confidence is the fear of failure. Many people avoid taking action because they're afraid of not succeeding, but small wins can help you overcome this fear by showing you that failure is not the end, it's part of the process. When you take small steps toward your goals, you're more likely to encounter setbacks or obstacles along the way. But rather than seeing these as failures, you can view them as opportunities to learn and grow. Small wins help shift your perspective from focusing on the end result to appreciating the progress you're making along the way. For example, if you're working on a project and things don't go as planned, rather than seeing it as a failure, look at what you've learned. What can you do differently next time? What steps can you take to improve? Each small win shows you that setbacks don't define you. They just provide valuable lessons that make you stronger and more resilient. Building confidence through consistency. Consistency is key when it comes to building confidence through small wins. It's not about achieving one big success. It's about taking consistent small actions over time. Consistency helps you stay on track, build momentum, and make progress toward your goals. Start by setting achievable goals that you can accomplish in a short period of time. Break down larger goals into smaller tasks, and focus on completing one task at a time. For example, if you're working toward writing a book, don't focus on the entire manuscript. Instead, set a goal to write one page, or even one paragraph a day. Celebrate each time you meet that goal, and watch your confidence grow as you continue to make progress. It's also important to be patient with yourself. Building confidence takes time, and it's easy to get discouraged if you don't see immediate results. But remember, every small win counts. Even if you're not where you want to be yet, every step forward brings you closer to your goal. The role of visualization in building confidence. Visualization is a powerful tool that can help you build confidence through small wins. When you visualize yourself succeeding, you create a mental image of what it will feel like to accomplish your goals. This mental rehearsal helps you prepare for success and boost your belief in your ability to achieve what you set out to do. Take a few minutes each day to close your eyes and imagine yourself achieving a small win. Picture yourself successfully completing a task, speaking confidently in front of a group, or taking a step forward in a challenging situation. Visualizing success reinforces your confidence and prepares your mind to take action when the time comes. Real-life example: the power of small wins. Let's look at a real-life example of how small wins can build confidence over time. Consider someone who is training for a marathon. At first, the thought of running 26 miles seems impossible, but rather than focusing on the marathon as a whole, the runner starts by setting small goals. They run a mile, then 2, then 5. Each time they reach a new distance, they celebrate the small win. Over time, these small wins add up. The runner gains confidence in their ability to complete longer runs. Eventually, they're ready for the full marathon, and they cross the finish line with a sense of accomplishment that's built on the momentum of those small wins. Conclusion: confidence is built one step at a time. Building confidence through small wins is one of the most powerful ways to overcome fear and take bold action. Every small win, no matter how minor it seems, adds up over time and helps you build momentum. By celebrating your wins, staying consistent, and reframing setbacks as learning opportunities, you'll start to see a transformation in your confidence. Remember, confidence isn't built overnight. It's a gradual process that comes from consistent action. The more small wins you accumulate, the more confident you will become. And with that confidence, you'll be ready to tackle bigger challenges and achieve greater success. In the next chapter, we'll explore the importance of taking bold action, even in the face of fear. We'll dive into how to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start taking action now, no matter what obstacles stand in your way. Let's continue building the courage to take bold steps forward. Chapter 6. Taking the leap. The importance of action. Fear often arises when we stand at the edge of a big decision or a major change. We hesitate, overthink, and wonder whether it's the right time to take the leap. But here's a truth that many successful people know: waiting for the perfect moment rarely leads to meaningful progress. The key to overcoming fear, building confidence, and achieving your goals lies in one simple concept: action. In this chapter, we will explore the importance of taking action, even when you feel uncertain or afraid. Action is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's the antidote to fear and the catalyst for growth. By learning to take the leap, no matter how big or small, you will unlock the door to new opportunities and experiences. Why action is essential. Action is the foundation of progress. Without it, your dreams remain just that: Dreams, no matter how much planning, strategizing, or preparing you do, nothing will change unless you take action. Fear loves inaction. It thrives in hesitation, doubt, and procrastination. But when you take action, fear begins to lose its power. The act of taking action does several things. It breaks the cycle of inaction. When you avoid making decisions or taking action, you become trapped in a cycle of overthinking and indecision. This leads to stress, frustration, and more fear. Taking action, no matter how small, breaks this cycle. It creates momentum and helps you move forward. It builds confidence. The more you act, the more you prove to yourself that you can handle challenges. Each step you take builds your confidence, reinforcing your belief in your ability to succeed. Even if the action doesn't lead to immediate success, the fact that you took the step gives you valuable experience that prepares you for the next challenge. It creates opportunities. Action opens the door to new opportunities. Every time you take a leap, you expose yourself to new possibilities. Whether it's meeting new people, learning new skills, or discovering new interests, action brings things into your life that would never appear if you remained passive. It reduces fear. The more you act, the less fear has control over you. Fear is rooted in uncertainty, but action creates clarity. When you take that first step, you begin to see that the situation isn't as scary as you once thought. Even small actions can dispel the fog of fear and reveal a path forward. The role of imperfect action. One of the biggest obstacles to taking action is the desire for perfection. We often hold back because we're waiting for the right moment, the perfect plan, or the ideal set of circumstances. But here's the truth: perfection doesn't exist, and waiting for it only delays your progress. The key to overcoming this obstacle is imperfect action. Imperfect action means taking steps forward, even if you don't have all the answers. It means moving despite fear and uncertainty, knowing that you can adjust, learn, and improve as you go. It's not about getting everything right the first time. It's about taking that first step and making progress. For example, if you're thinking about starting a new business, you might be tempted to wait until you have the perfect business plan, the perfect website, or the perfect product. But the reality is that you will never have everything figured out before you start. The most successful entrepreneurs often begin with a rough idea and make adjustments as they go. The key is taking action and learning from the process. Imperfect action helps you gain valuable experience and insights that you can't get from planning alone. Each step you take, even if it's not perfect, brings you closer to your goal and gives you the feedback you need to improve. Overcoming the fear of making mistakes. One of the main reasons people hesitate to take action is the fear of making mistakes. We often believe that mistakes are failures and that they reflect poorly on us. But in reality, mistakes are not only inevitable, they are essential to growth. Mistakes are the stepping stones that help us learn, adapt, and improve. When you take action, you'll inevitably make mistakes along the way. But rather than seeing mistakes as failures, try to see them as lessons. Each mistake provides an opportunity to learn and grow. The key is not to avoid mistakes, but to learn from them and keep moving forward. Think about a time when you made a mistake. How did you handle it? Did it hold you back, or did you use it as an opportunity to improve? The most successful people embrace mistakes because they understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the journey. Taking action, even if it leads to mistakes, will help you build resilience and teach you valuable lessons that will make you stronger in the long run. The fear of the unknown and the importance of taking the first step. Fear of the unknown is one of the most common types of fear. We fear what we don't understand or what we can't predict. But here's the reality: no matter how much you plan or prepare, the future is always uncertain. The only way to move through the fear of the unknown is to take the first step, even when you don't have all the answers. Taking that first step may feel terrifying, but it's often the hardest part. Once you take the leap, the fear begins to fade, and the unknown becomes more familiar. The first step provides clarity and insight into what comes next, and it helps you see the path forward. For example, if you're thinking about moving to a new city, You may fear the uncertainty of what's to come. But by simply taking the first step, perhaps by researching neighborhoods or scheduling a visit, you begin to take control of the situation. The more steps you take, the less fear you will feel, and the more you will understand what it takes to succeed in your new environment. Action and momentum. Building success step by step. Action creates momentum. The more you act, the easier it becomes to keep going. It's similar to pushing a heavy object. At first it's difficult, but once you get it moving, it's easier to keep it moving. The same is true with your goals. At first, taking action may feel difficult or overwhelming, but as you build momentum, progress becomes smoother and faster. Momentum has a powerful effect on your mindset. The more you act, the more confident you become in your ability to handle challenges. With each step you take, you prove to yourself that you can move past fear and uncertainty, and the more momentum you have, the less likely you are to let fear hold you back. When you face a fear or challenge, start by taking small, manageable actions. These small steps will help you build momentum and create positive reinforcement that drives you to keep going. As you accumulate small wins and experience progress, your confidence and motivation will grow. Real-life example: taking the leap. Let's take the example of someone wanting to write a book. The thought of writing an entire book may feel overwhelming, especially when faced with self-doubt and fear of failure. But instead of waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect idea, they take action. They set aside time each day to write, even if it's only a few paragraphs. They don't worry about getting everything perfect at first. They focus on making progress. Over time, the small actions add up. The writer gains confidence as they see their work taking shape. They make mistakes, learn from them, and keep going. Eventually they complete the book, and that achievement becomes the result of consistent action, even in the face of fear. Conclusion: the power of taking action. Taking action is the key to overcoming fear and achieving your goals. It breaks the cycle of inaction, builds confidence, creates opportunities, and reduces fear. Action is the fuel that drives progress and momentum, and it's the only way to turn your dreams into reality. In the next chapter, we'll dive into the importance of resilience and how to bounce back from setbacks. Fear and obstacles are inevitable, but how you respond to them is what makes the difference. Let's continue moving forward and embracing the power of action. Chapter 7. Overcoming self-doubt and perfectionism. Self-doubt and perfectionism are two of the most common obstacles that hold us back from taking bold action. They are silent yet powerful forces that can paralyze our progress, even when we have the skills and potential to succeed. In this chapter, we will explore how to overcome self-doubt and perfectionism, so you can move forward with confidence and achieve your goals. The truth is, self-doubt and perfectionism are often rooted in fear. The fear of failure, judgment, or not measuring up. While these fears are natural, they don't have to control your actions. By learning to recognize and challenge these negative patterns, you can break free from their grip and begin to take bold, confident steps toward your dreams. Understanding self-doubt. Self-doubt is a feeling of uncertainty about your abilities, decisions, or worth. It's that voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, that you don't have what it takes, or that you're bound to fail. Self-doubt can affect anyone, regardless of experience or success. Even the most accomplished individuals experience it. But the difference is how they respond to it. Self-doubt often arises when we are faced with a challenge, a new opportunity, or something outside of our comfort zone. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, "I'm not ready," or "I'll never succeed." But here's the truth. Self-doubt is not a reflection of your abilities. It's a reflection of your fears and insecurities. Why self-doubt holds us back? Self-doubt keeps us stuck because it feeds into a cycle of inaction. When we doubt ourselves, we hesitate to take the next step. We procrastinate, second guess, or avoid the challenge altogether. We allow fear to dictate our actions, and as a result, we miss out on opportunities to grow and succeed. The danger of self-doubt is that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you doubt yourself, the less likely you are to take action. And when you don't take action, You don't build the experience or confidence needed to prove that you can succeed. This reinforces the belief that you're not capable, which only increases self-doubt. But self-doubt can be overcome. The first step is to recognize that it's normal to feel uncertain, especially when you're doing something new or challenging. The key is not to let those doubts stop you from taking action. Practical strategies for overcoming self-doubt. Challenge negative thoughts. When self-doubt creeps in, it's important to challenge the negative thoughts that fuel it. Ask yourself, is this thought based on facts or assumptions? Often our self-doubt is rooted in irrational fears or worst-case scenarios. Challenge those thoughts by reminding yourself of your past successes, your skills, and your strengths. Focus on what you've already achieved, not what you fear you can't do. Shift your focus to action. Self-doubt thrives in inaction. The more you focus on your doubts, the more paralyzed you become. Instead of fixating on the fear of failure, shift your focus to taking small, manageable actions. Each time you take a step forward, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Action breaks the cycle of self-doubt and builds confidence. Use affirmations and positive self-talk. The way you talk to yourself has a direct impact on your mindset. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, that you'll fail, or that you're not ready, you reinforce self-doubt. Instead, practice positive affirmations. Tell yourself, I am capable, I can handle this, and I am worthy of success. Positive self-talk helps rewire your thinking and strengthens your belief in yourself. Surround yourself with support. Sometimes, self-doubt arises when we feel isolated or unsupported. Surrounding yourself with a positive, encouraging network can help combat self-doubt. Share your goals and challenges with trusted friends, mentors, or colleagues who can offer support, encouragement, and constructive feedback. Their belief in you can help strengthen your own belief in yourself. Understanding perfectionism. Perfectionism is the tendency to set unrealistically high standards for yourself and others. It's the belief that nothing you do is ever good enough, and that you must achieve flawlessness in everything you undertake. Perfectionism often leads to procrastination, self-criticism, and burnout. At its core, perfectionism is driven by fear, the fear of failure, judgment, or not being seen as successful. We believe that if we can just get everything perfect, we will be worthy of praise and acceptance. But the truth is, perfectionism is a trap. It creates an endless cycle of striving for something unattainable, and in the process, paralyzes our progress. The dangers of perfectionism. Procrastination. Perfectionism often leads to procrastination because we fear that the outcome won't be perfect. We put things off, hoping that we'll find the right time or conditions to get it just right. But the longer we wait, the more opportunities we miss, and the more we reinforce the belief that we're not ready. Self-criticism. Perfectionists are often their own harshest critics. We focus on our flaws and shortcomings rather than acknowledging our progress and successes. This constant self-criticism can lead to feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and even burnout. Fear of failure. Perfectionism is rooted in a fear of failure. We believe that making mistakes is unacceptable, and that failure reflects our worth. But this mindset prevents us from learning and growing. Mistakes are an inevitable part of life, and they offer valuable lessons that perfectionists miss out on by striving for flawlessness. Burnout. The pursuit of perfection can be exhausting. Perfectionists often push themselves to the point of burnout, as they are constantly striving for an unattainable standard. This can lead to physical and emotional exhaustion, making it even harder to take action and move forward. Practical strategies for overcoming perfectionism. Set realistic expectations. Instead of striving for perfection, focus on progress. Set realistic, achievable goals, and celebrate the steps you take toward them. Remember, done is better than perfect. Perfectionism often prevents us from completing tasks or projects because we're afraid they won't be perfect. Embrace imperfection as part of the process, and recognize that progress is more important than perfection. Embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. Mistakes are a natural part of growth. Instead of viewing them as failures, see them as opportunities to learn and improve. Each mistake is a lesson that brings you closer to your goal. Shift your mindset from fearing mistakes to embracing them as stepping stones on the path to success. Limit time and effort. Perfectionists often spend excessive time on small details in an attempt to make everything flawless. To overcome this, set limits on the time and effort you spend on each task. Focus on completing the task to the best of your ability within a set time frame, and then move on. This helps you avoid getting stuck in an endless cycle of refinement and ensures that you make steady progress. Practice self-compassion. Perfectionism often comes from a place of harsh self-judgment. Practice self-compassion by being kind to yourself when things don't go as planned. Treat yourself with the same understanding and empathy that you would offer a friend who is struggling. Recognize that you're doing your best, and that's enough. The power of letting go of perfection. Letting go of perfectionism allows you to take bold action without fear of making mistakes. It frees you from the constant pressure to be flawless and opens up space for creativity, growth, and progress. When you stop waiting for everything to be perfect, you allow yourself to take risks, try new things, and embrace challenges with confidence. Remember, progress is made through consistent effort, not through perfection. The key to success is not avoiding mistakes, but learning from them and continuing to move forward. By letting go of perfectionism and embracing imperfection, you will find that the path to success becomes smoother and more fulfilling. Conclusion: moving forward with confidence. Overcoming self-doubt and perfectionism is an essential part of breaking through fear and taking bold action. By challenging negative thoughts, embracing mistakes as learning opportunities, and focusing on progress rather than perfection, you can build the confidence to move forward and achieve your goals. In the next chapter, we'll explore the importance of resilience and how to bounce back from setbacks. Life is full of challenges, but it's how we respond to those challenges that truly determines our success. Let's continue building the strength to persevere and keep moving toward the life we want to create. Chapter 8. The Power of Resilience. Resilience is one of the most powerful traits you can develop on your journey toward success. It is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, adapt to challenges, and keep moving forward, no matter how difficult the road may seem. Resilience is not just about enduring hardship. It's about using adversity as an opportunity to grow, learn, and emerge stronger than before. In this chapter, we will explore the power of resilience, why it is essential for overcoming fear and adversity, and how you can cultivate this crucial trait to achieve your goals. Life is full of obstacles, but how you respond to those obstacles will define your success. Resilience is the key to turning challenges into opportunities and setbacks into comebacks. What is resilience? Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and to adapt well in the face of adversity, trauma, or stress. It's not about avoiding hardship or being unaffected by challenges. It's about the ability to persevere through difficulties and use those experiences to fuel growth. Resilience is a mindset, a skill that can be cultivated over time through practice, reflection, and self-awareness. It's the ability to get back up after you've been knocked down, to keep going even when the path ahead feels uncertain, and to turn adversity into fuel for your progress. The role of resilience in overcoming fear. Fear often arises when we are faced with challenges that seem insurmountable. It tells us to stop, to turn back, to avoid what lies ahead. But resilience is what allows you to move forward in the face of fear. It is the antidote to fear's paralyzing grip. When you face fear and failure, resilience helps you shift your perspective. Instead of viewing setbacks as permanent or insurmountable, resilience allows you to see them as temporary obstacles. With resilience, you understand that failure is not the end of the road. It's simply part of the journey. For example, imagine you've just faced a major failure in a project or a goal. Fear might tell you to give up, or that you're not cut out for this work. But with resilience, you can view this setback as an opportunity to learn. You can analyze what went wrong, adjust your approach, and keep moving forward with newfound knowledge. Resilience doesn't eliminate fear. It allows you to take action despite it. Why resilience matters. Helps you recover from setbacks. Setbacks are inevitable, whether they come in the form of personal failures, professional challenges, or unexpected obstacles. Resilience is what allows you to bounce back from these setbacks, rather than staying stuck in a negative mindset. Resilient people take the lessons from their struggles and use them to propel themselves forward. Strengthens your mental and emotional toughness. Resilience isn't just about recovering from physical challenges, it's also about mental and emotional toughness. Life can be mentally and emotionally exhausting, especially when you face difficulties that test your patience, determination, and belief in yourself. Resilience strengthens your ability to stay calm, focused, and positive, even in the most challenging of circumstances. Keeps you moving toward your goals. Resilience keeps you moving forward, even when things get tough. It's easy to lose sight of your goals when you face obstacles, but resilient people don't give up. They keep their eyes on the prize and stay committed to their long-term vision, even when progress feels slow or uncertain. Builds confidence. Each time you overcome a challenge or bounce back from a setback, you build confidence in your ability to handle adversity. With each success, you prove to yourself that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. Resilience helps you see that you can weather the storms of life, which builds a deep sense of self-belief. The components of resilience. Resilience is not a single trait, but a combination of characteristics and behaviors that help you cope with adversity. Some of the key components of resilience include optimism. Resilient people tend to maintain a positive outlook, even in the face of challenges. They don't ignore the difficulties, but they believe that they can overcome them. Optimism fuels hope and keeps you motivated, even when things aren't going according to plan. Emotional regulation. Resilient people know how to manage their emotions, especially during stressful or difficult times. They don't allow negative emotions, like fear, anger, or frustration, to dictate their actions. Instead, they acknowledge these feelings, process them, and move forward with a clear, focused mind. Self-awareness. Resilience requires self-awareness, the ability to understand your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. When you are self-aware, you can better identify when you're getting overwhelmed or when you need to take a break. This allows you to respond to challenges in a way that aligns with your values and long-term goals. Adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and the ability to adapt to change is a crucial part of resilience. Resilient people are flexible and open to change. They understand that the road to success is rarely linear, and are willing to adjust their approach when faced with new challenges. Support systems. Resilience doesn't mean going it alone. In fact, resilient people often have strong support systems, whether it's friends, family, mentors, or colleagues, who help them navigate tough times. Seeking support is a sign of strength, not weakness. It allows you to draw on the resources and wisdom of others to help you through difficult situations. How to build resilience. While some people may naturally exhibit more resilience, it's a skill that can be cultivated with practice. Here are several strategies you can use to build your resilience over time. Reframe negative thoughts. One of the most important steps in building resilience is learning how to reframe negative thoughts. When you face adversity, it's easy to fall into a mindset of defeat. Instead, try to reframe your thoughts by asking yourself, what can I learn from this? What's the next step I can take? By changing the way you think, you can transform setbacks into opportunities. Practice self-care. Building resilience requires taking care of your mental, emotional, and physical health. Practice self-care regularly by engaging in activities that recharge you, whether it's exercise, meditation, reading, or spending time with loved ones. A healthy mind and body are essential for navigating life's challenges. Set realistic goals. Resilience doesn't mean taking on too much at once. It's about setting realistic goals and working toward them, one step at a time. Break large goals into smaller, manageable tasks, and celebrate each milestone along the way. This helps you stay motivated and focused, even when the journey feels long. Embrace change. Change is inevitable, and the more you can embrace it, the more resilient you will become. Instead of resisting change, try to see it as an opportunity for growth. Whether it's a new job, a new project, or a new environment, embrace the uncertainty and trust that you will adapt and learn as you go. Learn from past experiences. Resilience is built on experience. When you face challenges, take time to reflect on what you've learned. Ask yourself, what worked? What didn't work? What can I do differently next time? Each experience, whether it's a success or a failure, provides valuable insights that strengthen your resilience. Develop a support system. Build strong relationships with people who support you and encourage you to keep going. Don't be afraid to lean on others when you need help. A solid support system can provide guidance, comfort, and strength when you're facing tough times. Real-life example: the power of resilience. One example of resilience in action is the story of J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before her success, Rowling faced many hardships, including the death of her mother, financial struggles, and rejection from multiple publishers. Despite these setbacks, she kept going. She believed in her story, even when others didn't, and continued to write. Her resilience paid off when Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was finally accepted for publication, leading to worldwide success. Rowling's story is a testament to the power of resilience. She faced numerous challenges, but she didn't let them stop her. Instead, she used her setbacks as fuel for her determination. Her story shows that resilience isn't about avoiding failure. It's about getting back up when you're knocked down and continuing to push forward. Conclusion: embracing resilience for success. Resilience is the key to thriving in the face of adversity. It allows you to turn setbacks into comebacks and keep moving forward, no matter what obstacles lie ahead. By building resilience, you will develop the mental and emotional strength needed to overcome fear, stay focused on your goals, and embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. In the next chapter, we will explore how to create lasting change by turning bold actions into habits. Resilience is just the beginning. Once you build the strength to persevere, you can turn your actions into powerful, sustainable progress. Let's continue this journey toward lasting success. Chapter 9. Creating lasting change. Change is inevitable, but creating lasting change is something that requires intention, consistency, and commitment. It's easy to make a change in the short term, but how do you make it stick? How do you turn those bold actions, the ones you've taken in the face of fear, into habits that lead to lasting success? In this chapter, we will explore how to create lasting change in your life. We will discuss how to make meaningful changes that don't fade after a few weeks, and how to turn new behaviors into permanent habits that align with your goals and values. Lasting change is built on a foundation of resilience, action, and a growth mindset. But to truly make it stick, you need to understand the process of transformation and how to set yourself up for long-term success. Why lasting change is so hard. Creating lasting change can be difficult, especially when it feels like the initial excitement of a new goal or resolution starts to fade. Why does this happen? The reason lasting change is so challenging often comes down to our habits. Habits are automatic behaviors that we've learned over time. They are formed by repetition and become ingrained in our daily lives. When we try to make a change, we are essentially trying to rewire our brains and replace old habits with new ones. This process takes time, effort, and consistency. One of the biggest obstacles to lasting change is the temptation to give up when progress seems slow. We expect quick results, and when we don't see them, we become discouraged and revert back to old habits. This is why it's important to focus on progress, not perfection. Change is a journey, not a destination. The power of small, consistent actions. One of the most effective ways to create lasting change is through small, consistent actions. It's not about making huge changes all at once, but about taking consistent, manageable steps toward your goal. Small wins add up over time and create momentum. When you build small, positive habits, you gradually transform your life without overwhelming yourself. For example, if your goal is to improve your fitness, it's better to commit to a daily 10-minute workout than to try to work out for an hour every day and burn out quickly. By starting small and gradually increasing your efforts, you are more likely to stick with it in the long run. Setting clear, achievable goals. When you're creating lasting change, it's essential to set clear and achievable goals. Vague goals like "I want to be healthier" or "I want to be more successful" can leave you feeling directionless and uncertain. Instead, break down your goals into specific, actionable steps. For example, instead of saying, "I want to write a book," try setting a goal like, "I will write 500 words every day for the next month." By making your goals clear and measurable, you give yourself something concrete to work toward. You also create a sense of accountability and accomplishment as you track your progress. Remember to keep your goals smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. This framework ensures that your goals are well-defined and realistic, which increases your chances of success. Building a support system. Lasting change is easier when you have support. Accountability is a powerful motivator. When you share your goals with others, you increase your chances of success, because you have people to encourage you and help you stay on track. Whether it's a mentor, friend, or community, having a support system can provide you with valuable guidance, feedback, and encouragement. Support systems also help you stay motivated during the difficult times. When things get tough, or you feel like giving up, having someone to turn to can help you push through. Surround yourself with people who believe in your potential and encourage you to keep going, even when the journey gets challenging. The role of self-reflection. As you work to create lasting change, self-reflection is an essential tool. Regularly reflecting on your progress helps you stay focused and identify areas where you may need to adjust your approach. Take time each week or month to evaluate how far you've come and whether you need to adjust your goals or actions. Ask yourself questions like, what has been working well for me? Where have I struggled? And what can I do differently? What progress have I made? And how can I build on it? Self-reflection helps you stay grounded and allows you to celebrate small victories. It also helps you stay adaptable. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes you may need to shift your strategy. Reflection allows you to recognize when something isn't working and make the necessary changes to stay on track. Embracing setbacks and learning from failure. No journey toward lasting change is without setbacks. Challenges, failures, and obstacles are inevitable, and they can often feel discouraging. But resilience and the ability to bounce back from failure are key to creating lasting change. Failure is not an end, it's a part of the process. When you encounter setbacks, don't view them as signs that you're not capable. Instead, see them as learning opportunities. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I adjust my approach to overcome this challenge? What strengths have I gained by overcoming this obstacle? Failure doesn't have to derail your progress. It can actually accelerate your growth. The most successful people are often those who have failed the most because they've learned the most from their mistakes. Celebrating progress. It's essential to celebrate progress, no matter how small it seems. Too often, we focus solely on the end goal and forget to acknowledge the small steps that lead us there. Celebrating progress along the way helps you stay motivated and reinforces the behaviors that are driving your change. Celebrate milestones, no matter how minor they may seem. Whether it's a week of consistent effort, a new habit formed, or progress toward a larger goal, take time to acknowledge and reward yourself for your hard work. This celebration creates positive reinforcement and helps you stay committed to your journey. Staying committed to your vision. Finally, to create lasting change, you need to stay committed to your long-term vision. There will be moments when things get tough, and it may feel easier to give up. But by keeping your vision at the forefront of your mind, you remind yourself why you're on this journey in the first place. Visualize your success and remind yourself of the reasons you set these goals. Whether it's for personal growth, achieving a dream, or creating a better life for yourself, staying connected to your vision helps you maintain motivation and persevere when things get difficult. Real-life example: transforming habits for lasting change. Consider the example of someone who decides to adopt a healthier lifestyle. At first, they struggle to stick to their new habits. whether it's eating better or exercising regularly. However, by starting with small achievable goals, like taking a 15-minute walk every day, or swapping one unhealthy meal for a healthier option, they begin to build momentum. Over time, these small actions become habits. They don't feel as challenging anymore, and they start to see the positive impact on their health. As they continue to make small, consistent changes, they build confidence and create lasting habits that align with their long-term vision of a healthier lifestyle. This gradual transformation is an example of how lasting change is built on small, consistent actions over time. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. And with each step forward, you are creating a foundation for long-term success. Conclusion: the journey of lasting change. Creating lasting change is not a one-time event. It's a journey that requires consistency, patience, and resilience. By taking small, consistent actions, setting clear goals, reflecting on your progress, and learning from setbacks, you can create the lasting transformation you desire. In the next chapter, we will explore how to inspire others to take bold action and create change in their own lives. When you create lasting change in your own life, you become a beacon of inspiration for those around you, encouraging them to take their own leaps of faith and build the life they truly want. Chapter 10. Living fearlessly. Living fearlessly does not mean being without fear, it means choosing to act despite fear. It's about taking control of your fears rather than allowing them to control you. Fear will always be a part of life. It's an inherent part of being human. But what separates those who thrive from those who get stuck is how they respond to fear. The individuals who succeed and live fulfilling lives are those who don't let fear stop them from taking action, from pursuing their dreams, and from embracing the challenges that come their way. In this chapter, we will explore what it truly means to live fearlessly. We'll break down the concept of fearlessness and show you how you can live a life where fear no longer holds you back. By the end of this chapter, you'll have the tools to take bold action, overcome obstacles, and move through life with courage and confidence. The reality of fear. Let's start by acknowledging the reality. Fear is unavoidable. It's a natural and instinctive part of life. Whether it's the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, or the fear of the unknown, we all experience fear in different ways. But what often happens is that we let those fears dictate our decisions. We avoid risks, hold back from opportunities, and stay within our comfort zones because of fear. But fear in its essence is not necessarily harmful. It's a survival mechanism that protects us from danger. However, when fear is disproportionate to the situation, or is rooted in uncertainty rather than actual threat, it can hold us back. The key is not to eliminate fear, but to understand it and take action despite it. Living fearlessly is about accepting that fear will always be there and learning how to move forward anyway. The more you embrace the fear and take action in the face of it, the less power fear will have over you. Understanding fear as an invitation. What if you could look at fear in a new way, rather than viewing it as something to avoid? Think of it as an invitation. Fear often appears when we are about to step outside of our comfort zone and into new territory. Whether it's a new job, a new relationship, or a big decision, the presence of fear is often a sign that you are pushing your limits, challenging yourself, and growing. In this way, fear becomes a signal that you're on the verge of something meaningful. The more you lean into fear, the more you expand your boundaries and grow as a person. Fear is not a warning to stop. It's an invitation to take the next step, to take action, and to embrace the possibility of what's on the other side of that fear. The power of courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the willingness to act despite it. Courage is not the absence of doubt or hesitation, but the ability to move forward, even when you're uncertain. Living fearlessly requires courage, the courage to try new things, to step into the unknown, and to fail without giving up. When you act with courage, you are not waiting for fear to go away, you are simply choosing to act in spite of it. It's important to remember that courage isn't reserved for the extraordinary. It's found in the small moments, when you choose to step up, speak up, or try something new, even when it feels uncomfortable or risky. Courage builds over time. Each time you take an action despite fear, you reinforce your belief in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. You learn that you are capable of facing challenges and overcoming obstacles, and that belief fuels your confidence and resilience. Reframing your thoughts, from fear to action. Living fearlessly starts with a shift in your mindset. When fear arises, it's easy to become overwhelmed by negative thoughts. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if people judge me? These thoughts keep you stuck in a cycle of indecision and inaction. To live fearlessly, you need to reframe these thoughts. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, focus on what could go right. Instead of thinking about failure, think about growth. Ask yourself, what will I learn from this experience? What new opportunities could arise from taking this step? Reframing your thoughts helps you see fear, not as an obstacle, but as a stepping stone to growth and success. It shifts your focus from the potential negative outcomes to the positive possibilities that lie ahead. This mindset shift is critical for taking bold action and moving forward in the face of fear. The importance of trusting yourself. To live fearlessly, you must trust yourself. Self-trust is the foundation of fearlessness. It's the belief that you have the strength, skills, and resilience to handle whatever challenges come your way. When you trust yourself, you trust that you can face uncertainty and come out the other side stronger. Building self-trust comes from experience. It comes from taking action, learning from your mistakes, and proving to yourself that you are capable. Each time you take a step forward, even when it feels uncomfortable, you build trust in your ability to navigate the unknown. Start by reflecting on times when you have successfully handled difficult situations. Remind yourself of the challenges you've faced and the strength you've demonstrated. The more you reflect on your past successes, the more confidence you build in your ability to handle future challenges. Taking bold action, despite fear. The most important part of living fearlessly is taking bold action. Fear will always be present, but action is the antidote. When you take action, you prove to yourself that fear doesn't have to dictate your decisions. Every time you act in the face of fear, you strengthen your courage and build momentum toward your goals. Bold action doesn't mean taking reckless risks or jumping into something without preparation. It means making intentional decisions to move forward, even when you're unsure. It's about doing what you know needs to be done, even when the outcome is uncertain. Start with small actions. If you're afraid of public speaking, the first step might be practicing in front of a mirror or recording yourself. If you're afraid of starting a new project, the first step might be researching or outlining your ideas. The key is to start, no matter how small the action may seem. Real-life example: the power of living fearlessly. Take the example of a woman named Sarah, who dreamed of starting her own business, but was terrified of failing. She feared judgment, financial loss, and the uncertainty that came with entrepreneurship. However, Sarah realized that her fear was holding her back from living the life she truly wanted. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, Sarah took small steps toward her goal. She researched her industry, built a business plan, and reached out to mentors for advice. With each step, her fear lessened, and her confidence grew. Eventually, Sarah took the leap and launched her business. Though challenges arose, she trusted herself and kept moving forward. Today, Sarah's business is thriving, and she reflects on how her willingness to act despite fear led her to a fulfilling and successful life. Her story shows that living fearlessly doesn't mean waiting for fear to disappear. It means taking bold action, no matter how big or small, and trusting that you have the ability to handle whatever comes your way. Conclusion: living fearlessly. Every day. Living fearlessly is not a one-time event or a grand act. It's a way of being. It's about making the decision to act despite fear, trusting yourself, and embracing every challenge as an opportunity for growth. When you live fearlessly, you free yourself from the limitations that fear imposes, and unlock the potential within you to create the life you desire. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to inspire others to live fearlessly and take bold action in their own lives. By living fearlessly, you not only transform your own life, but become an example for others to do the same. Let's continue embracing fear as a catalyst for growth and take bold steps toward a life of limitless possibilities. Chapter 11. Inspiring others to take bold action. Throughout this journey, we've discussed how to confront fear, take bold action, and create lasting change in your own life. But the power of living fearlessly doesn't end with you. One of the most fulfilling aspects of personal growth is sharing that growth with others. As you transform your own life, you have the ability to inspire and empower others to take their own bold actions, face their fears, and create positive change. In this chapter, we will explore how to inspire others to take bold action. We'll look at the power of leading by example, offering support, and encouraging others to step outside their comfort zones. As you learn to live fearlessly, you'll become a beacon of inspiration for those around you, guiding them toward greater courage, confidence, and action. The power of leading by example. The most powerful way to inspire others is by leading by example. People are often more motivated by what they see than by what they hear. When you act boldly in your own life, you demonstrate that fear does not have to control your decisions. By showing others that it is possible to take risks, face challenges, and step into the unknown, you give them permission to do the same. Leading by example doesn't mean being perfect or having all the answers. It means being willing to take action, even when it's difficult, and showing others that failure is not something to fear, but an opportunity to grow. When others see you push through your own fears and take consistent action, they begin to believe that they too can take bold steps toward their own goals. For example, if you're working toward a personal goal, like launching a business or training for a marathon, share your progress with those around you. Let them see your struggles, your setbacks, and your victories. When you show others that you are facing your fears and pushing forward despite challenges, they will be inspired to take bold actions in their own lives. Offering support and encouragement. While leading by example is important, offering support and encouragement is equally essential. People are often more willing to take bold action when they feel supported. When you encourage others to step outside their comfort zones, you help them see that they are not alone in their journey. By providing a safe space for people to share their fears, concerns, and aspirations, you can help them overcome their doubts and take the first step toward action. Support can take many forms. It can be as simple as offering a kind word, listening to someone's concerns, or providing guidance and resources. It can also mean helping someone break down a large, overwhelming goal into smaller, manageable steps. The key is to be there for others, offering encouragement when they feel uncertain, and helping them celebrate their successes along the way. For example, if you have a friend who is hesitant to make a career change, offer them support by helping them explore their options, sharing your own experiences, or simply offering a listening ear. When people feel supported, they are more likely to take the leap and pursue their dreams. Helping others set clear goals. To inspire others to take bold action, it's important to help them set clear, achievable goals. Like you, others may be overwhelmed by the uncertainty that comes with big dreams and ambitions. Helping them break down their goals into smaller, actionable steps can make the process less daunting and more manageable. Encourage them to set SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Help them define what success looks like, and encourage them to take one step at a time. The more concrete and realistic the goals, the more confident they will feel in their ability to achieve them. For example, if someone wants to start their own business, you could help them outline their first few steps, researching their market, creating a business plan, setting up a website, or reaching out to potential customers. By breaking down a large goal into smaller actions, you help them see that bold action doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's about taking one step at a time. Encouraging a growth mindset. One of the most important aspects of inspiring others to take bold action is helping them develop a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed with effort, learning, and perseverance. People with a growth mindset are more likely to take risks, embrace challenges, and persist through setbacks. When you encourage others to adopt a growth mindset, you are helping them see failure as a learning opportunity rather than a roadblock. You are empowering them to take action despite their fears because they understand that they can grow and improve through experience. To encourage a growth mindset, remind others that success is not about being perfect, it's about learning from mistakes and continuously improving. Reinforce the idea that every challenge they face is an opportunity for growth, and that taking action is the key to progress. Sharing stories of overcoming fear. Sometimes the best way to inspire others is through storytelling. Sharing your own experiences, both the struggles and the successes, can be incredibly powerful. People often feel inspired when they hear about how others have faced and overcome their own fears. When you share your story, be honest about the challenges you faced. Talk about your doubts, your failures, and the moments when you wanted to give up. Then share how you found the strength to keep going. Your story doesn't need to be extraordinary, it just needs to be authentic. When others hear that someone else has walked the same path and succeeded, it can spark the courage they need to take action. For example, if you've overcome a fear of public speaking, share how you felt before your first presentation, the steps you took to prepare, and how it felt to finally succeed. Hearing that someone else has faced similar fears and come out stronger on the other side can inspire others to take action and face their own fears. Creating a culture of bold action. As you inspire others to take bold action, you can also create a culture of bold action within your community, workplace, or social circle. Encourage others to support one another, share their goals, and celebrate their victories. When you create an environment where taking risks is celebrated, and failure is seen as part of the learning process, you empower everyone to step outside their comfort zones and pursue their dreams. This culture of bold action is not just about individual achievement, it's about creating an environment where everyone feels empowered to take risks, learn from setbacks, and grow together. When you support others in their journey, you create a ripple effect that inspires even more people to take bold action. Leading by example, real-life story. Let's take the example of a manager in a company who is committed to inspiring her team to take bold action. Sarah, the manager, had always been afraid of failure and making mistakes, but she realized that her fear was limiting her growth and the growth of her team, so she decided to take bold action by proposing a new project that she knew would be risky. She openly communicated her fears with her team, sharing her journey of overcoming self-doubt and failure. She encouraged them to take their own risks, reminding them that mistakes were part of the learning process. As a result, her team started embracing challenges with a new mindset. They saw that failure was not the end, but a part of the process, and as a team, they achieved greater success than ever before. By leading by example, offering support, and encouraging others to step outside their comfort zones, Sarah created a culture of bold action within her team. Her willingness to take risks and embrace failure inspired others to do the same, and together, they achieved great things. Conclusion. Empowering others to live fearlessly. Inspiring others to take bold action is one of the most rewarding things you can do. As you live fearlessly and take bold steps in your own life, you have the power to encourage and empower others to do the same. By leading by example, offering support, and helping others set clear goals, you can create a ripple effect that inspires others to face their fears, take risks, and create lasting change in their own lives. Remember, your actions are a powerful form of inspiration. Every time you face your fears and take bold action, you show others that it's possible for them to do the same. Together, we can create a world where fear no longer holds us back, and where bold action leads to a life of limitless possibilities.